Bears Den with Drake Toll.
And welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy, what is it? It's just Wednesday? Happy Wednesday, everybody. May 12th today. Joining the show by who would have been, should have been, the Big 12 Player of the Week. That is Andy Thomas, the star catcher for Baylor baseball, who, Andy, somebody tells me that it was your half birthday last week, and you are now officially 28 and a half. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure it wasn't Max from Twitter.
Yeah, it wasn't Max, but he did let me know. I think it was Kettler. Kettler let me know that you're pushing 30.
That's funny coming from an old guy.
Exactly, another one of the old guys. He let me know you're pushing 30, and some of the guys on the team just learned how to drive a couple of years ago. So maybe, hey, the dynamic's working though right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, baby. All right, so Andy. As those at home, as you can tell, Andy just got a haircut. Really rocking the flow going on right now. Just slick. Give us a little plug. Just getting a haircut. You're doing your random midday duties on a Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Had an interview at the field this morning. Got a haircut at Scissors. Just got done with that and practice at 2. So
I love
good
it.
morning so far. Glad to be here.
Busy day, early summer. Hopefully the rain stays away today, Andy. Let's get right into the thick of it. You know, last time you came on this show, you guys were in the middle of a win streak. I think it was 6 or 7 games at that point in time. Xavier, Memphis kind of stacked back to back. And a lot of folks were saying, they said, look, you know, Baylor baseball started 2-4, 2-5, somewhere around there. And yes, they've won X amount of games in a row, but is it legit? Is it real? Is this team really, do they really have postseason aspirations? And that answer now is yes. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong.
Andy, what changed from Series 1, UTRGV, to today? What is different now?
Experience. We got a really young team, and getting those guys experience. Lose, you know, it's never okay or never good to lose, but getting those losses under our belt gets these young guys fired up a little bit, you know, builds a fire under some of their, and so having those series losses early, it's important for these guys to get experience. We got a lot of young dudes who, you know, have never gone through a Big 12 season before. And so getting that experience under their belt and starting to catch a little fire now, we're on a good road for the postseason.
Andy, what is that like for you? One of the older guys on the team, one of those senior guys that decided to come back. I mean, you know, Kettler said it kind of jokingly, but he's not wrong. There are guys that are 2 or 3 years removed from learning how to drive a car on this team playing alongside you. What is it like to have that mix of seniors alongside some young guys that, like you said, haven't seen Big 12 action?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a really interesting dynamic. At times it's, you know, we're speaking 2 different languages. You know, they're making jokes that, you know, the 5th years don't even understand. And we're saying stuff and they're like, we weren't even born yet. But no, it's good. It's a good dichotomy between the old and the young. You know, we have the young guys who, you know, play a little bit different. They're more aggressive. They're, you know, a little bit more fearless than some of us older guys are. But that's good. You know, and then we got the experience from us old guys who, you know, show them the ropes a little bit and lead them in the right direction. And then they just go off. You know, you got guys like Jared and Trey, Kyle Nevin, you know, some of our young arms. The future of the program's in really good shape, and we're looking pretty good for this year.
Andy, what did it take to come together as a team when you look at you said the dichotomy, old and young? Was there a turning point, a moment where things just meshed into one, or was this a long process to bring together the different age groups?
It's a process. It's definitely not a one-time thing. This has been months and months and months of hard work and a lot of intentional efforts from both sides. You know, both sides have to understand, hey, look, these dudes are old. You know, they're gonna show up when it matters. It's gonna be a little bit different than us, who are gonna have to be, you know, grinders day in and day out. But no, it's definitely not a quick process at all. This has been hard, especially with COVID. You don't have your usual bonding sessions where guys all hang out together at someone's house, or, you know, you guys go and do fun stuff like a golf outing or something like that. That doesn't happen as much with COVID. So it's been extremely difficult getting everybody on the same page and on the same wavelength as far as old and young that way. So, but I think we've done a pretty good job of it. A lot of the older guys have taken each, you know, 2 or 3 younger guys under their wing and tried to show them what the ropes are like around here. So it's been fun.
Andy, I talked about starting the season 2-4. There were a lot of questions that came up then. And then you start conference play at 1-5 with a series against Texas and the sweep against TCU in Fort Worth. Was the message the same after both of those stints in this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Rod said it, and even us older guys have said it too. We're young. We need experience. That's the number one thing we need is people on the field, in the trenches, when it matters. And those early losses have helped our success now and are going to help our success this postseason.
Andy, along with it, Ket and I talked earlier this week about Auburn. A team like Auburn started the season top 25. They had all these aspirations for possibly hosting at the end of the year. Their season started rough, and just the dominoes fell past that, and now they're a bottom dweller in the SEC. For you guys, you've seen now 2 stints this season where things didn't go your way, but instead of feeding into listening to the national media, instead of listening to those like, all right, well, this is how it's supposed to go, you found a way not just to crawl back, but do it emphatically to be one of the top teams in the Big 12. How does that happen? How does this team not fold?
That's a good question. That's what athletes do. That's what winners do. You can make excuses and dwell on being crappy, or you can actually strap on your boots and go win. And that's what winners do, is they go out in the field when the game is on the line and they win. And that's what our team is full of. We have literally 25 to 30, however many people are on our roster for travel days, 28 people who are going to go out and win. And that's what you want. You want people like that. You don't want people who are going to dwell on, we went 1-5. No one cares. Nobody in the country cares. And that's what we're focusing on right now. One game at a time. We're going to go up to Stillwater and hopefully beat the crap out of them. That's our goal.
Andy, along with it, you get the TCU series, Texas series you talked about. You walk into West Virginia, get the home win. Go to Kansas, get the win in Lawrence. Folks are still saying, all right, they're preseason 8th in the Big 12. Sure, they got a couple of series wins. There's just no way they even put up a fight against Texas Tech. Well, not just a fight. It's an 8-run victory, then a 10-run victory in 2 of those games in that series. What happened at Tech? Was that a turning point, a defining point for this team?
Definitely a defining point. I wouldn't say a turning point at all. That's what we've been doing to a lot of different teams. We scored a ton of runs at Rio Grande Valley. We scored a ton of runs versus Auburn. We scored a ton of runs versus Xavier and Memphis. That's what we do. That's what our offense, it's very, very high octane. When we score, we don't score 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We're going to score 10, 12, 15 runs. And that just shows if people take us, they sleep on us, good. Let them sleep. Keep sleeping, and we'll just dance our way into the postseason.
Andy, then moving into Kansas State, and really these last couple series for you through Big 12 play, the bats have caught fire. I know we juxtapose. Coach Steve Rodriguez comes from California. He's that Pepperdine guy, and that's all small ball. That's the bunts, the squeezes, hey, if we score 3 or 4 runs, you guys are only scoring 2, we're going to win. But this season, the opponent can score 7, and it's fine because you guys are putting up 12. I mean, this is an offense that I don't know if I've seen in a decade or more at Baylor. What makes this offense so good?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, we're stacked on both sides of the plate, which is a good start. When we face a righty, we'll have 7 lefties in the lineup because we have 2 switch hitters. But when we face a righty, we have 7 lefties. And if we face a lefty, we got 5 or 6 righties in the lineup. So I think we're really, really balanced. We got guys who get on base a lot. And then we got guys in the middle of our order who drive the ball home. And then the guys at the bottom of the order get it back to the top. It's really, really important for 7, 8, 9 to be high on base guys. And that's what we have this year. 7, 8, 9 gets it to the back of the top of the order, and then it just rolls again. It's pretty impressive, and it's really fun to be a part of. But I'm just really excited for Oklahoma State.
Andy, looking at the Kansas State series, there's so many high points. 17 runs on Friday, 23 runs on Sunday, and a 7-inning mercy rule with that 17-run inning. But your weekend as a whole, being a national player of the week and senior class award finalist, I mean, is it too early in this season to start accruing those accolades and really letting those get to you?
Yeah, absolutely. During the season, you don't let any of that get to you. You focus on one game at a time, one pitch at a time. And, it'd be nice to have Big 12 Player of the Week, but it's just an award. That's all it is. What matters to me is the 2 out of 3 wins we got. What matters to me when we go to Stillwater is 3 out of 3 wins. That's what's important. What's important is the Big 12 record. What's important is getting into a postseason, winning in the postseason, and getting our team to Omaha. That's our only goal. That's the only thing that matters to any of us right now. Accolades will come. All that stuff will come. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything.
Andy, for you, getting to see some of the greatest catchers in collegiate baseball over the last couple of years come through this program at Baylor, and now stepping into those shoes, leading the team in home runs and RBI. I mean, you're third in the conference, third in the Big 12 with 53 RBI. It's a nuts number right now. And this past weekend going 8 for 11. What do you attribute that success to, especially as of late?
Yeah, it's just experience. It really is. It's the strength and conditioning we've done. It's the experience. It's the knowledge of, hey, just because you're hitting 400, just because you're hitting 350, something like that, it doesn't mean people aren't going to pitch to you. No one's ever that scared. No one's ever that intimidated until the end of the weekend. You go, oh crap, that guy was 10 for 12. That guy was 15, had 15 hits in 4 games. It's like, so I think understanding that, when you're young, in a program, you think, oh, I had 8 hits last week and these people aren't going to pitch to me. And that's just not true. You have to be ready and expect the other team to think you're nothing, and have that mentality of like, I'm really not that good. I'm really not that good. I'm not that bad. I'm right in the middle somewhere, and just be ready to play exactly what you have approached for. If we're approaching that the guy's going to throw slider down a lot, we need to set that approach. We need to not think, oh no, he's going to throw fastball here. No, if he shows you his hand, that's what we're going to get. And I think I can attribute a lot of my success to that right now, is our game plan, experience, and being ready to hit.
Andy, you got guys in front of you like Trey Richardson, Jared McKenzie, Jack Pineda. When you've got those 3 names that are batting before you in the lineup, how much more confidence does that give you stepping into the plate, knowing most of the time you're going to have somebody on base?
Yeah, all 3 of those guys are huge on base guys, and all 3 so different. Jared's probably got the most pop out of the 3 just because of the home runs. He can hit the other way, and he turns on balls pretty well too. But, Jack's an on-base machine. He's probably one of the headziest baseball players I've ever played with. And Trey is so talented. Some of the fastest hands on our team. It's really hard to get a ball inside by him. So it's nice. You got guys who are on base. It's easy to make RBIs. You know what I mean? When guys are not on base, you got to do it yourself. So when guys are on base, it's, base knock here, base knock there, gets you 2 RBIs. Let's go. And it's really nice to have those high on base guys in front of you.
Andy, I want to take you back to this past Sunday because it was something that I got to watch on ESPN Plus covering the softball game. 53 minutes go by, and 50 minutes go by, and there are 0 outs and 17 runs on the board and still a guy on base. What was that like? Is that one of the more surreal baseball moments you've been a part of, putting up 17 runs without any outs in an inning?
Yeah, I would say it takes the cake. That's number one. I've never experienced anything quite like that. I mean, we scored 11 on Texas State 2 years ago, and that felt like forever, and then you get this and it's like, wait, we just scored 16 without an out being recorded. What's happening? And then, the camaraderie in the dugout and the competition sets in. It's like, well, who's going to be the first one to get out? It's not going to be me, it's not going to be the next guy. So that's what's fun. It's it sucks for Kansas State. They gave up that many runs in an inning, but the game before they put up 7 on us in the 9th inning. So you got to have that fire and that fuel to say, nah, we're going to keep pushing and scoring as many runs as possible. This is competition. This is war. So,
Andy, now that you've knocked off Texas Tech, Kansas State won 4 straight Big 12 series. Folks know. I mean, the message is out there. Baylor baseball is hot right now. They're scrappy, and they're competing for a top spot in the Big 12. Going into Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, I should say, obviously they are minded and they want to end that. They want to end that run, that scrappy little run that Baylor's put together. Does it feel like there's any target on your back being that team that's really hot right now in Big 12 play?
Yeah, absolutely. For 2 reasons. Like you said, we're hot and that target is on our back, and that's fine. Leave it there. Make the target as big as possible. So when we get to the regional, when we get to postseason, we've seen that target before and we know how to play with it. But 2, the other thing is Oklahoma State's that bubble team right now. We got to go in there and make sure they don't make a postseason. That's our goal. Our goal is to go in there and beat the crap out of them all 3 games. If we go in there and hand them 3 losses, they may not make postseason. That's not a nice thing to say. It's not fun. It's not cool. That's our goal. Our goal is to make sure other people look worse than we do so we can get a top seed.
Along with it, you got Oklahoma right after that. And looking back earlier this season, 9-3, the final score in Round Rock, you guys fell to that same Oklahoma team. What's going to be different this time?
I think what's different is both teams are maybe opposite of how they played that day. I think Oklahoma's struggling a little bit lately. Their pitching hasn't been great. Their hitting is what's dangerous. Their hitting is what's scary about that team, is they can put up mass amounts of runs really quickly. With us, I don't think our pitching was as strong then as it is now, and I don't think our hitting was as good as it is now. So I think we match up really well with these final 2 series. I think we can get 5, if not 6 wins from both those series.
Andy, what does this team need to do down the stretch, looking at those 2 series along with the Big 12 championship tournament in Oklahoma City? What does this team need to do to bolster its postseason resume right now?
I think we have a pretty good resume as of right now. Obviously, if we got 6 out of 8 Big 12, series wins, that would be huge. If we can take 2 out of 3 from the next 2 series and show decent in the Big 12 tournament, we're a lock for the postseason. But like I said, it's just a game at a time. We can look at the tournament, we can look at the Big 12 tournament and NCAA tournament, but we don't need to yet. We don't need to look at that yet. As long as we take care of our business in Stillwater, we come home, we take care of our business at home versus Oklahoma. That's what's important. One game at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves type mentality. And I think that having a bunch of the old guys on the team, letting the young guys know, look, we're not there yet. There's no reason to think about a regional yet. Our mind right now is beating OSU as badly as we can embarrass them.
Andy, as business as this is for you guys, trying to win these games down the stretch, make the postseason as high of a seed as possible, are you guys having fun?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, if you would have been in the dugout with that 17-run inning, I would not have to answer this question. But yes, we're having a blast. And it's fun too. One guy will go 3 for 5. Somebody will go 2 for 3, and it's, hey, I got 3 today. You only got 2. What are you going to do tomorrow? Type mentality. All the guys in the dugout are like fighting and clawing for more hits, more runs, more RBIs. It's like a selfish mentality that turns into a completely selfless mentality when it helps the team.
Andy,
so, a lot of fun.
I love it. You guys are having fun. Business as usual. You're winning. That makes my job easier. So, I mean, if you don't mind continuing to do that, that'd be great.
Yeah. No, we'll do it just for you.
Thank you. At least that. Thank you. Andy, our Bear Games question today, 17-run inning on Sunday. So our Bear Games question Monday was, what is the worst loss that you've been on the side of that? Tuesday's question is, what is the biggest win that you've been on that side of, the biggest blowout win you've gotten? Today's, what is the best individual performance you've ever experienced in sports?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest loss, I'll answer Mondays real quick. Mondays was, in my opinion, was when we lost to West Virginia in the Big 12 tournament my freshman year. I think they beat us, I'm not kidding. I think they scored 15 runs in 2 innings. And then we got out of there in 7. So that was the biggest loss. Biggest win might have been that Kansas State win we just had right there, just because of the 17-run inning. And the third question was, what was my best personal performance?
Individual, yep.
Best individual performance I had was when we played Cal Poly on Sunday 2 years ago. I went 5 for 5 with 4 doubles. And that was cool. I mean, it was 4 doubles in a game. It was awesome.
Locked in.
Especially as a DH, you get to only worry about hitting. So that was pretty cool.
Boom. Hey, Andy, thanks so much for joining the show today. Always a pleasure to get your perspective for the second time this year. Let's do this again after a series sweep against Oklahoma State. What do you say?
That sounds perfect. All right.
See you, Andy. Thanks again. That's Andy Thomas of Baylor Baseball, the starting catcher, star catcher, first team all Big 12 kind of guy. Third in the league right now in RBI, first on the team in home runs and RBI. Andy Thomas, a stud. And as hot as they come right now, 8 for 11 this past weekend with 3 home runs as well.